Abstract. I have named this one Abstract, and I don't know if that's the right word. I think that it is, and but to me, it's a form of art that I think is really cool looking, but I never make, and my mind never goes there. I see it, and I'm like, that's really awesome, but then when it goes to making art, I never go there. My art always has a very definite Bobby look to it. You know, I can do different things, but I have a definite like range of motion that I'm comfortable in. And I always thought that was interesting. I always thought that was a good thing. Like it just sort of like it made my stuff me, you know? But an interesting thing happened after I made this group. I keep saying that I didn't make this group for the reason most people typically make a group, you know? And to be quite honest with you, I don't really know why I made this group. I just know that I needed to, and I know that I did, and I know that today I found a reason that was like on top of all the other reasons that I've been saying it's great for me. But I honestly don't know why I even started it, because there's no way I could have known that what's been happening because of this group was going to happen. There's just no way, right? That I could have known that. And they certainly were not the reasons, hey, I'll start a group and this will happen to my brain. No, that was not the reason. I was just like, I think I need to start a group, and I don't really know why, but let's just do it anyway and see what happens. So that's what happened. So, but here's what I'm talking about. I've been looking at your art. I've been looking at everything that you guys make. And your styles and the details that you choose to put in there, and your methods and just the things that you do are like, I look at it and I'm just like, I've seen, you know, I could see things like that here or there, or I could go to a museum and I could look at things and it would be like, oh, that's cool, you know, and I wouldn't think much of it, but it's like I'm living here, you know, and I've made this my home, and now I look at it every day and I'm just like, see it and think about it and infuse it into you, is what I'm saying to myself. And I'm like, there's so much possible with what these amazing people are making that, like, I never think to go there in the art. And it sort of expanded beyond that into, well, what about life in general? You know, if there's so much possible in the art, then there's so much possible in life in general. And with the internal work that I've been doing, it just sort of like married together, and it led me to believe that the impossible doesn't exist, that nothing is impossible. And to that I say, duh. I mean, Law of Attraction 101, right? It's like anything is possible. You can create anything. Your thoughts become things. It's like all these things that we know and we can recite and blah, 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 right? But big whoop-de-doo, because we don't think them and we don't actually do them. Maybe you do, but I don't, you know? And it's like I always think of the thing Abraham Hicks says all the time. You know, the universe doesn't care if you want a button or a castle. It's the same thing to the universe. They can make whatever, you know? Except to me, they're tremendously different. And I never really understood why, because logically I know that there's no difference. I know that the impossible doesn't mean anything, and I know that I can have or be or do anything. I can recite all the words. You know, I could write a Law of Attraction book and say, here, read this and understand it, and then you'd go, I understand this now, and we could have discussions about it, and nothing changes. So I have this word quantasy, right? You hear me talk about this all the time, the quantum odyssey. And today I was thinking, well, what if my life were the odyssey, right? What if my life were the odyssey? What if this odyssey that I went on were literally an odyssey, and I said, bye, I'm going on this trip? Well, would I decide that I would like find clothes in the street while I'm walking around on this trip, or would I pack a bag, you know? And I was like, no, I would pack a bag, clearly. I mean, this is, obviously, right? Well, wouldn't I do that if Big Me were going on this odyssey to here, right? Wouldn't I say, I'm going to pack a bag, and I'm going to bring some stuff with me, and I'm going to bring health, and I'm going to bring love and relationships, and I'm going to bring my genius with me, and I'm going to bring the resources that I need to live in this 3D environment that I've created for myself to live in. And, you know, so for most of us, that's money. right? Yeah, we want the house and the car and the blah and the things and the clothes and the whatever and the food. But how do you get all that? You get it with money. So what would I do? I'd pack a bag, right? Well, I'm born naked. I don't have a bag with me, so I'm a smart guy. I would make it energy that I could pick out of the air at any time that I needed to. And how do I know that this is true? Because I do it all the time with my genius, right? I don't know if you heard, once or twice in the last week or two, I've mentioned that I've been watching The West Wing on Netflix. It's one of my favorite shows, and about every 2 years, I watch the whole damn thing again. And it's a very interesting show. But just yesterday, there was an episode where the head speechwriter is writing for the inauguration speech, and he can't write. He's got writer's block, you know? And he says something to somebody. He's like, I've never had to reach for it before. I've never had to look for it before. I wouldn't even know where to look. It's just always been there. It's just always flowed out of me. And today I was thinking about that when it comes to my core genius, my ability to create art, to write music, to make stories, to do my thing, I don't have to sit down and be like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I just sit down and I go, and it goes, right? I just pull it out of the air. Or as as Abraham would say, I get it out of the vortex. I allow it to flow into me, right? Or Joe Dispenza describes it as the quantum field. I'm really a big fan of that one because it helped. The scientific aspect of it helps me to make it even more real to me, right? And so the quantum field, if we think of atoms are energy, there really is no mass or matter to an atom. Hardly any, 0.01% or something like that is actual matter. The rest is energy in a quantum field. And everything is made of atoms. So all we are these quantum fields of energy that are just bound together through molecular forces and look like this. Look, I got an arm, you know? Where did this arm come from? Well, I made it, right? I pulled it out of the quantum field. I'm going to need an arm on this Odyssey. Let me get an arm. I'll take two. And a couple of legs and some other parts. So, right? And then I want relationships. And so things like that come pretty easily to me. Health comes pretty easily to me. These aren't the things that I have a problem with. And then when it comes to the 3D resources, what did I do? I went, I'm not going to look in the energy field. I'm going to look here. I'm going to look in this 3D landscape that I've created. I'm sure I left it here somewhere. And I just keep looking and looking and looking and looking and looking. And I think we all do that. So if your thing is health, if your thing is love or relationships, if your thing is, you don't know what, for most of us, I don't know that it's the genius because we're all artists here, but maybe it is, maybe that's what writer's block is. And we're looking for it here. It's like, maybe it's under here, right? It's like, we're looking in the wrong spot. It's not here. It's here. And looking at your guys' work started making me expand my thinking to be like, wow, I never thought to create anything that looked like that. I just wouldn't have gone there all by myself. And now it's like, well, where else am I not going all by myself? Why do I keep looking for this stuff in the wrong place all by myself? I'm making a film. I don't know how I'm making a film. The only thing I do know is that I'm finished asking how am I doing this, because I've been asking how I'm doing this for a long time, and you know what? I never find the answer when I ask that. I know that I brought it with me. I brought it with me. I got it. I'm going to pull it out of there, and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to show it to everybody here. And I don't know how yet, but that's not my job. And that's all I got today. So let me go to the comments and say hello to everybody. All right. David, I said hello to everybody. Mikey, hey Mikey, what's up, buddy? Hello, Bobby. Hey everyone, says Stace. Hi Stace, back for day number 2 in a row. Nice. Let me see. Ray says, hey, Stace is back. Yes, okay, cool. Ray says, maybe the rest of us were drawn to your brain, your face, your being, and we knew you needed to have your left eye placed in your shoulder. Maybe. right? Maybe I have a friend, Landon. I mention him quite often. He used to run another group. Well, he still does, and I used to run a group, and we became friends because we were both group running, and we're still friends. And we have a mastermind call together every Friday afternoon, and I joke with him because he lives in Colorado. I live in New York. They're hundreds of miles apart if you don't know the geography of the United States. So we're not close, and geographically. And I joke with him all the time that he doesn't exist, that he is just a figment of my own imagination that on a screen that I can talk to so that I can get this stuff out of my head and figure it out. So, maybe you guys are that too, because with the exception of a handful of you, I've never met you in person. So I don't know. Maybe nobody exists. Maybe I am literally the only person on this planet, and everything else is just a hologram. And my job is just to realize that it's not my job to figure out how. That's where I'm at today. Kelly, hi, Kelly. Oh, I said hi to you already, so I'll take it back. More Kelly. That was weird. Sorry, I'll never do that again. Kelly says, there's a huge difference between knowing something intellectually and knowing it through feeling. Oh, yeah. That's that right. Going back to what I said about we all know the law of attraction. We know the words, right? We could recite Abraham. We could recite Bashar. We could recite anything and know the words and be like, and isn't it funny when you hear other people talking sometimes and you can take your law of attraction knowledge and apply it to their problem, right? God forbid somebody asks me a question. The genius answer that comes out of my mouth to their problem, because I don't have their problem, and I'm just like, oh, law of attraction, blah, 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 blah. And they go, wow, that's amazing. And then I go home and think about my problem, and none of that applies because I'm too busy looking here in this 3D landscape that I created instead of taking it out of my backpack in the quantum field. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Carl is here. Hello, Carl. Nice to see you. Have you ever been on a Daily Fuel? I'm not sure that you have. If you have, I apologize, but I usually like to say hello to people when it's their first one. I say hello to everybody, but I call them out when it's their first time. Carl gave me a lot of emojis there. I see this one. What's up, buddy? I appreciate you being here. Ray, you've heard George Carlin stand up about stuff. If not, you need to. I'm sure that I have. I really like George Carlin. You're never by yourself. You're part of the universe. I know. Thank goodness you took a breath. No, I'm real, says Ray. You may be a figment of my imagination, and I have a great imagination. That's true. I could be a figment of your imagination, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not. These arms that I brought with me feel pretty solid. Carl says, yes, I have. Hi. Okay, so sorry. I take it all back. I take back the hello. Yeah. Well, that was the last comment. I don't know if you guys are still here. If there are any more comments, drop them in. But if not, then I'm just going to wrap it up. This is what I'm at, and I feel like there's this palpable energy happening here. I'm really excited about it, and I am grateful for it. And I think what's going to be going on, because I'm doing a lot of inner work right now, and most of my day is spent doing that, and then I spend some time working on the idea for this film that I'm making. But so as I do this inner work, it's like I think of a new thing, and it's like that's going to be my daily fuel. So if that's cool with you, that's where we're going. But if there are things that you guys want to talk about, you could still shout it out, and I could fit it in, or I could, this isn't all about me, but it sounds like we're all kind of moving along together. And if that's the case, then great. And oh, here are some more things. David says the teaching we receive to thrive in the 3D world doesn't introduce the concepts of spirituality as we perceive it. And when we become aware of it, we question it, right? Accepting its existence is a challenge, but it's amazing when we do. Man, so much, right? Because first you're born, right? And then, well, obviously, and then you grow up in this 3D world, and unless your parents and everybody around you is already like really, really, really good at this stuff, then you're probably not going to learn much about it growing up. And then when you wake up and you figure this stuff out and you're like, oh, there's all this other crap that I need to know. Then and it's not only is it other stuff to know, but it's like all this stuff that you learned before that's wrong, clearly wrong. Gotta unlearn that, and then you're realizing that, you know what it is? Because I said it's like we could recite these words. But going back to Joe Dispenza's stuff, reciting the words doesn't do anything when your subconscious is still connected to this other stuff that was just drilled into your head for years or decades, or however old you are, up to the point where you start learning this new stuff. It's hard, but we can do it. I know that we can. And you know what? We are, because here we are. Boy, the comments just started flooding in. Good. I wasn't ready to be done. Stace says, my imagination goes down on paper. LOL, it's safer that way. Meaning like when you just, instead of what I do, live like this. These are my psychiatry. Instead of going to a psychiatrist, I do this. And then you guys give me good advice. Carl says, good luck with your film. Well, thank you. Right now, I just have an idea, but I'm sort of saying, this is what I'm doing. The brain, Kelly says, the brain tends to see life as a goal to be accomplished. Yeah. Where the heart sees an adventure. Oh, I really like that. I even have adventure written on my board over there. I have boards everywhere, by the way. Well, not everywhere. I have 2 over there and 1 over there. So every once in a while, if you see me doing this, it's because I'm looking at my board. But I really like that, because I feel like that's how I've lived. That I'm always trying to, I feel like my heart will start something and say like, ooh, I want to have this adventure. I want to make this film. Right? To me, that's an adventure. That's fun. And then my brain will be like, cool, you could sit down. I'm going to take it from here. And I'm going to try to apply everything that I learned from old school stuff and figure out how to make this for you. And I guess my heart is just like, all right, I guess, I don't know. We'll see how that works. And I guess the point of today's live with abstract is that I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to try it on this side. I'm going to try reaching into the impossible. I'm going to try starting to make a thing without knowing how I'm going to do it and without having a business model in mind. That's very weird for me. You might just be like, well, who cares? That doesn't mean anything to me. But I'm going to try doing things the opposite way that I've always done them, because they didn't work. Kelly, that's abstract. That's abstract. Yes, thank you. And Stace says, we are fed other people's version of reality. That's so true. That's really, really true. All right. Whew. And Ray, and you are breathing more. Feels good, huh? Yes, it does feel good. I actually like this. See, the not breathing part is like energetic to me. I could feel the blood flowing and the heart pumping, and it's like, I guess to me that's overtaking the brain. If I'm too quiet and calm, then my brain has space to. Maybe that's why I talk really fast and do this like this, because it doesn't give my brain space to pop in here and say, what about what we learned in 5th grade? I don't want to know that anymore, I want to do this stuff. Well, that's it. That's all I got. Stace, once again, you were about to get the booby prize, but Ray swooped in and stole it from you, so sorry about that. Anyway, if that's it, then I'm going to go, and I have to go barbecue some chicken. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Bye.